everyone, it's Desiree, and yes, I am here with the Stitchmas Christmas collection by Spellbinders, and the item that I'm working with is called Stitched Ornament. So now that doesn't mean that you have to make an ornament, but I did. Yes. But this would look beautiful on a card, but it can also be one of those cards or tags that not only, excuse me, that produces, that ornament gift, but it can be a tag. It can be a card. So you can have that something special or that something little for somebody really quick. And I love those types of things because I'm always caught off guard and I always forget somebody. Oh, it's horrible. Okay. I'm going to, you can see that I'm not speeding this up too much. I want you to see how I stitch these. I'm using my All-to-New metallic thread and I'm doubled it up. And you can see that I'm holding the thread. I used to tape it down. As I continue to work with these, I come up with different tricks that, again, work for me. So as I'm doing this, I'm holding that tail of thread, and it's about 3 inches long that I'm holding back. And you can see I'm coming up through the center and down through the side. I'm coming up to the center and down to the next hole. And I'm going to do that in a circular fashion. So I wanted to keep this very close to normal speed so that you can see this. And then I'm also going to show you how I end this. And it's each of the sections that are the same. This I have found really works, especially when you are working with a metallic thread. It's different than a DMC floss or an anchor floss or any other type of floss that you're using because it will grip upon itself. This metallic just goes all over the place. It is wiry and it just goes crazy. You'll see here that I get some knots and I'm trying to get through it. I love cross stitching. I really do. But that's right about here where I'll stop. So holding that tail, that is something that me as a cross stitcher does. And then I usually cross stitch over that to bury that tail because we don't like to knot in cross stitch. At least I never did. And my sister taught me, and she was, you do not knot. She used to holler at me, you do not knot. There are no knots in cross stitching. So let me know if you're a cross stitcher and if you were taught that as well. But she was emphatical. I'm in awe of her pieces. So you can see I went up, I went down, up into the center, down along the side, and now I'm weaving throughout the back here. Okay, I'm just constantly moving through. I'm wiggling through the threads so that I'm not staying underneath them all, letting them grab each other. And I know cross stitchers, you should turn away now, but because this is metallic, I am going to knot this. I know. If it was just DMC, I think I'd be fine just letting it woven through so that it would lock. But because it's metallic, I am just going to put a couple knots in this. And I'm going to trim that. I'm going to bring in my thread scissors and I'm going to trim those ends away, not go close to the knot, keep it a little farther, but within that area. And then I'm going to drop some glue right around the outside. And by putting that glue there, it's going to seep down through the strings and bind them all together. So they're not going to go anywhere. All right. So you can see I did all of my stitching in the center and on each of the ends. You can see the glue is still wet in some areas and I'm adding even more because this is going to go down on this piece of satin gold cardstock. So I have a pale peach and then I have a gold coming in because I didn't stitch through all the holes. So I want that gold to come through. And you can see along the top, I also have the gold accent pieces that are going to come through as well. I'm going to put those on the top and the bottom of the pink, the Stitched Ornament side, and also the backing and I chose a Desert Storm cardstock for that. Now, what would be really pretty, I mean, I think this ornament's going to come out again because there are so many different things that you can do with this die set here. You could just have those gold, and I'm sitting here pointing at my screen like you can see, where I have it on the craft, the top and the bottom there's holes on that. Think about strings being strung throughout, in between those. And I hope somebody watching this, maybe they'll do it and send me a picture. You know, just taking strings and going back and forth. So you don't have to have that full detailed piece, or having those pieces and having those strings come across as well. I did also die cut the leaves that come with this because these leaves sprigs are absolutely gorgeous. I die cut the topper twice. So I'm putting that on the front and the back, and then I'm going to take some more of that gold string and I'm going to string that through the hole and then tie a knot on the top, which is going to pull those pieces together to help them stick, to make them just a little bit stronger. And it really did. It really did make that stuff strong. What also I did, if you noticed on the back of the stitched panel, I only put double-sided foam squares above and below that center stitch area so that when it comes to the top and the bottom, they're pinched back together. So it gives it a little bit, a slight, just very slight rounded effect. So here I am struggling, tying this knot, pulling in the needle because that is the best helper to get these threads through. I just, you know, when it comes to knots and bows, my fingers just are fumbling. It's amazing though, because I spin my own yarn and thread. I can do that. It's amazing. It's just amazing. I pulled out some, I think these are coffee gems, and they have this beautiful iridescent, and I'm pulling out a certain size. That's what you see me doing there because I don't want to sit there and rattle through. And now I'm just going to I do put a ton of glue down. So you're going to see it seeping. You're going to see it just coming all over the place. But that's because I'm putting the gems on top of the threads. And I want to make sure that these gems adhere and that they don't go anywhere. I'm going to add gems on the holes on that top and bottom piece that I added. To add just a little bit of sparkle there. And then, that's where I'm putting that along those as well. So again, I needed the same size of those gems. And again, what I'm using is a wax pencil to pick up those gems. It's something that's in the nail art industry. Vicky P, actually, because I cannot pronounce her name. I mean no disrespect. She actually turned me on to that wax pencil. I get mine from Amazon. You can get a bunch and they'll last forever. For these greens, now again, it's almost like I'm going to show you another way to create your ornament on the back. So I die cut them with the satin gold and with this pale lime greeny olive looking color, and just having fun placing those around. These are beautiful, beautiful stems, sprigs of leaves. You can stop at any point, but I loved the mixing of each of these colors and the way that they came in. Since I used the same metallic cardstock, you can just put it along the edge and it just blends in there. And they're just overlapping. So the green's coming from the bottom and the gold is coming along from the top. So a beautiful way to put that together. You could just stop at one set and put one at the top, one at the bottom, but so many options for this one little tiny ornament, which is great because it really can stretch that die and you can make it into so many different things. I hope you enjoyed today's project, and again, it's featuring the Stitched Ornament by the Stitch Miss Christmas Collection by Spellbinders. All the products that I used will be listed down below in the video description. And if you have any questions, please leave those down below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit the bell so that you know when the next video is live. Thank you so much for stopping by and taking the time to watch the video. And I hope I gave you a few tips and tricks along the way. I don't want to, it's scary to get into my mind. At least that's what my husband says. But maybe what works for me will work for you. Enjoy your time. Know that you're creating art and it's unique and it's yours. Have fun with it. But always be creative every day, guys. And I'll talk to you in the next one. Take care.